Hello everyone, welcome to my channel, The Legit Astrologer. My name is Rajat Kapoor. In today's video, I am going to talk about yet another important transit which is occurring, and it is going to have an impact over the next 3 to 4 months. This is the transit of the planet which most of the people love, the transit of Venus. And in case you're new to my channel, please subscribe, hit the bell icon to keep yourself updated with the most recent videos that I'm going to be making as I continue to make more videos with your support and encouragement. So Venus, Shukra, which is the planet of love, it is the planet of interaction, it is the planet of relationships, it is the planet that represents harmony, it also represents luxuries. Venus is making a transit in the sign of Cancer, in the very emotional sign of Cancer. So this transit is happening on 30th of May, and Venus is going to stay in the sign of Cancer till 7th of July. Now, why this transit is going to last over the next 3 to 4 months? Because Venus, when it moves in the sign of Leo later in July, it is going to retrograde and move back into the sign of Cancer on 7th of August, and it is going to stay in the sign of Cancer till 1st of October 2023. So which means that this year Venus is spending a lot more time in the very emotional sign of Cancer and in the very fiery and kingly sign of Leo. So it holds a great importance for all of us, and it is likely to have an influence on a lot of people. Now let's try and understand this transit. Venus, which is the planet of love, interaction, relationships, luxuries, partnerships. Venus also represents fragrances, Venus represents vehicles, it represents all the material comforts in this world. It is a natural benefic planet. It is also considered the Karaka, the significator of all the material wealth. Venus also represents knowledge, all the modern day knowledge, which means short-term courses, executive educations, certification courses, and very much which are relevant to the current time period. Venus represents all of that. So it represents knowledge which is more practical in terms of the work aspect and what people do in real life. So Venus, being the natural second house lord and the 7th house lord of the Kalpurusha Kundli, is making a transit in the 4th house. So the lord of the 2nd house, which is the house of wealth, which is the house of family, house of speech, this is where we feed ourselves. This is the house we love to protect, because we love to protect what we consume, our food, and also our family. And Venus also rules the 7th house of relationships, partnerships, agreement, people who are opposite to you, your spouse, and it is making a transit in the 4th house. The 4th house represents satisfaction, happiness, comforts. It is a safe place for us, like our home, where we feel most comfortable. It also represents mother. 4th house represents unconditional love, because that is closely linked to mother. It is an important transit because Venus in the natural 4th house, if your Venus is placed in the 4th house of your chart, this is where it gains directional strength, or Venus is Digbali, things of the Digpala Devata, which are very prominent. This gives Venus 100% strength. Though Cancer as a sign is not the best sign for Venus, Venus is more or less neutral in this sign. However, considering the fact that this is the natural house where Venus gains directional strength, and considering the fact that Cancer is an emotional sign, Cancer is the sign of peace, it's a sign of harmony, it's a sign of care, compassion, it is pure water, and Venus is Jalatattva, Venus is a watery planet. There is a good blend of elements, so this particular time period will generate a lot of emotions which will support you to put your focus back into your relationships, to put your focus back into your partnership, to put your focus back into the people who are closely related to you. And once again, as I always say, if Venus is connected in any way in your ongoing mahadasha, antardasha or patantardasha, then you are likely to have the maximum impact of this transit. If in case you have any planets in the sign of Cancer, in the sign of Capricorn, in the sign of Taurus, in the sign of Libra, or in the sign of Virgo, then you're likely to have maximum impact of this transit. Or your current dasha or antardasha lord, if it's in any way connected with Venus by conjunction or aspect, then you're likely to have impact of this transit. Also, if Mars is anyway connected to your ongoing dasha or antardasha, or if you're going through a dasha of moon, because moon rules the sign of Cancer, then you're also likely to be impacted by this transit. Now, before I move into how this transit is going to have an impact on various ascendants, let's also talk about, from a nakshatra point of view, what is happening in this transit. So Venus is currently transiting in Punarvasu nakshatra. Punarvasu nakshatra is lorded by Jupiter. Venus is going to stay in Punarvasu nakshatra till 3rd of June. So about 4 or 5 days Jupiter is going to be in Punarvasu nakshatra at the time of transit. Interestingly, when Venus is making a transit, it is also being Vargottama, which means that in the Navamsha, Venus is placed in the sign of Cancer, which gives it great dignity. Any planet that is Vargottama holds a special significance from a karmic point of view, and this transit gives Venus additional strength. After Punarvasu nakshatra, it is going to transit in Pushya nakshatra. From 3rd of June till 17th of June, it will be in Pushya nakshatra, which is lorded by Saturn. Pushya is a very pure, it's a very auspicious nakshatra. It is considered very good to start something new in Pushya nakshatra. So it could be quite a favorable time if you were to start anything new. So first 2 weeks of June are relatively a good time to pick up some new ventures, if other conditions are favorable in your chart. Now, after Pushya nakshatra on 17th of June, it is going to transit in Ashlesha nakshatra, and it is going to remain in Ashlesha nakshatra through this transit till 7th of July. Ashlesha nakshatra is lorded by Mercury, and this nakshatra also holds a very karmic significance, because this is when Venus will move from the watery sign of Cancer to the fiery sign of Leo. This is an important and a karmic connect where from a water sign to a fire sign, it moves across the point of Gandanta, which is a karmic knot. It holds a special significance. Based on the nakshatras, this particular transit of Venus is activating the 3rd cycle. What does this mean? I have mentioned it in my previous video of Mars transit as well, that Venus's transit will further amplify the results of the 3rd cycle, which is all about communication, it is all about efforts, it's all about travel, siblings, and it is also about arts. Venus is also the significator of all kinds of arts, whether it's fine arts, performing arts, entertainment. So this is going to have a special significance over the next 2 or 3 months. We could see some massive developments into the performance sector. If individuals want to pursue some of their interests, this is quite an excellent time to take up something which you've been wanting to do since a long time, where you have an interest and you're passionate about it, because Venus also represents passion. Now, there's another interesting aspect of this transit, that Venus is going to be conjoined with Mars most of the time through this transit. So all throughout the month of June, Venus and Mars are going to be conjoined in the sign of Cancer. However, during this conjunction, who has a greater influence? Who has a good dignity? I can conclude that it is Venus who is in better strength and a good dignity. Mars is in its sign of debilitation. Though I have mentioned this in my previous video as well, that its debilitation is likely to cause less harm because of some of the other factors which are supportive. Venus here is in a better dignity because during the time of transit, Venus is Vargottama. Venus is in the house where it gains directional strength. Venus is also a watery planet and moving into a water sign. So in all aspect, Venus is in a better position. Now, over the next few days, when both of these grahas will also get into a planetary war, this is a time that the brightness of Venus, that the power of Venus is going to emerge out as victorious, because Mars overall is not in a great dignity during this transit compared to Venus. I will make a separate video on this particular conjunction and how it is likely to have an impact over the next week or so. In this video, let's focus on Venus's transit. Let's put our energies and attention in terms of how it is going to have an impact on all 12 ascendants. Before I move there, once again, what is the key message of this transit? This is the natural lord of wealth, family, relationships, partnerships, harmony, luxury, is making a move in the sign which represents home, which represents where you feel most comfortable, where you feel protected, care, your mother. So this is a message for all of us that it is time to put our priorities back into the family, into our relationships, and look for ways and medium how you feel the utmost satisfaction at the soul level. What makes you feel content? What makes you feel happy? Mars's conjunction with the Venus is really going to ignite that passion into the emotions. And if you're able to channelize that in a positive manner, you could achieve a lot over the next 2 to 3 months. A common remedy during this transit, because Venus also is related to flowers. Okay, so having flowers at your home or planting flowers in your garden or having plants which have flowers is a good remedy here, because Venus is making a 7th aspect on the sign of Capricorn. So what does that represent? There is a desire to stay grounded. There is a desire to be in action. Capricorn is an earth sign. So there is also a desire to protect all the things related to earth. About trees, it's about plants, it's about flowers. So putting your focus back into gardening, if you like, or have some plants or nice flowers in your home over the next 2 or 3 months could be potentially beneficial for all of us. This time period will also witness a lot of travel or the need to go out and travel. Particularly mid-June to mid of July is a time wherein we'll see a significant rise in air travel. Now it's time to talk about how it is going to have an impact on all 12 ascendants. So you can link it with either ascendant sign or your moon sign from a material or a physical result perspective, or the results at a mental level, and make some conclusions. I have also drawn sample charts for each ascendants representing what houses are going to be active, what houses are going to be positive, what does the aspect mean, and to make this even more simple for you to understand. Let's start with Aries ascendants. So for Aries ascendants, Venus rules the 2nd house and the 7th house, and Venus is making a transit in the 4th house. So the lord of your wealth, your family, the house that you love to protect, and the lord of your marriage, partnership, relationships, business, people who are opposite to you, is transiting in your 4th house of home, where you feel the most comfortable, happiness, where you get most satisfaction, unconditional love, mother. And here Venus is going to make a 7th aspect, which is a 100% aspect to the 10th house. What does Venus desire aspecting the 10th house, the sign of Capricorn there? It desires certain actions that you need to take with regards to your work or your profession. Venus desires or asks you to stay grounded, to stay connected to your roots. It desires you to bring certain changes in the way you've been working, which can help you expand your horizon and foster your success in the professional environment. So the message for Aries ascendants is that this transit is all about gaining happiness through family, through wealth, through their work or the job or the business that you are doing at present, and try to find other medium or mechanisms or activities which make you feel happy, which make you feel content. Because Venus and Mars, your Lagna Lord, is also conjoined with Venus. So there is a lot of energy which is there in your house of happiness. So you need to channelize that. Rahu's transit on your ascendant indicates that there is certain amount of illusion or confusion that is there. So you really need to clear your thoughts. You also need to declutter. So one of the remedy would be to declutter your house, to clean your house as Venus makes this transit on 30th of May. After that, spend time in terms of cleaning and decluttering your house if you have not done so in the past. During this transit, your 4th house, 7th house and 6th house, which is a sign of Cancer, Libra, Virgo, this is where the respective nakshatra lords, okay, which is Jupiter, Saturn and Mercury, are exalted. So these signs are going to witness some positive results. So which means this is time to manage your relationships and your competition, who you're going to compete with. Spend some time in planning, putting some notes, jotting down the things that you like to do. Declutter as much as you can to really clear your thoughts to have a good focus. Overall, it's a mixed transit. I wish you the very best. Let's talk about Taurus ascendants. For Taurus ascendants, Venus is an important graha because it is your Lagna Lord. It rules your 1st house, which is yourself, your overall personality, your strength, your knowledge, who you are, and also your 6th house of depth, your 6th house of daily routine. 6th house is also related to job. It is related to who you compete. It is related to your enemies. And Venus is making a transit in the 3rd house of efforts, siblings, short journeys, travel, Guru Upadesha, your short-term learning, what you learn from your Guru. From here, Venus is going to aspect the 9th house of fortune, Bhagya, higher learning, long distance travel, father. What does Venus desire? Venus for sure in this transit desires you to travel. Travel is certainly on the cards. It also desires that you learn, you upskill yourself, and that kind of learning which you can apply at your workplace, which you can apply in your practical life. Excellent time to pick up a certification or picking up a course which is very relevant to what you do, because fortune is favorable most of the time during this transit. So that's a great indication. So what is the message? The message is that you need to put yourself and your intelligence into communication, into the efforts that you will make over the next 2 months. And with this intelligence, you are likely to also develop some sort of passion which can reflect in your efforts, which would be visible to others. So make the most of it, because Venus represents interaction and it is in the sign of communication. This is really about the outcome based on your communication, which will help you build some credible relationships, which can be favorable for you in the long run. Venus also, this transit is indicating you to plan for long-term material gains through your efforts. So the efforts that you likely to make over the next 2 months can really help you make some long-term gains over the next few months. During this transit, your 3rd house, your 6th house and your 5th house are likely to witness positive results, which means that it is time to put certain efforts for your future, to surpass competition, to put your intelligence into good use, into practice, so that you can have a better future. So it is time to first sit down, chalk out your goals, and then think about how and when are you going to put efforts. Do not shy away from putting efforts. The more efforts that you're going to put in this time, the wider would be your level of interaction and the more you will gain over the next few months. Overall, it is an important and a positive transit for Taurus ascendants, and I wish you the very best. Let's talk about Gemini ascendants. For Gemini, Venus is the only Yoga Karaka planet. So it is an important graha for you. It rules the 12th house and it rules a very important 5th house in your chart. 12th house is all about your self-consciousness, the ability to give, where you would like to rest, the higher realm. This house has a lot of depth. It is essential for your own self-awareness. This is also the house of sleep. And it rules the 5th house of planning, love, because 5th house represents children, speculation. 5th house also plays a very important role in wealth. Venus is making a transit in the 2nd house of wealth, family, who you like to protect the most, how you like to feed yourself. This is the house where you feed yourself. So you're very protective of this house. In this transit, Venus is aspecting the 8th house of transformation, change, sudden ups and downs, also occult, mysticism, hidden knowledge. Venus desires transformation. Transformation in your overall personality, in your appearance. So spend a lot of time in terms of being more presentable to others, being more approachable to others, because this is a time when a lot of people will approach you to get consultation, to get your advice. So make sure you're there to help. This is also a great time for those who are willing to pursue some independent individual opportunities in the area of consulting, in the area of advisory. It's a great time and opportunity for them. So one of the remedy for this time is to spend your time and your money on your family, on your children. So do as much as you can, because the more you do, the more you're able to gain over the next few weeks. During this transit, your second house, your fifth house, and the fourth house are likely to witness positive results. So this is your savings and wealth, certain decisions that you're going to make with your finances for now that can help you build a future foundation, that can help you achieve some of your goals that you might have to purchase either a vehicle or a home, saving enough to be able to do that in the near future. Make sure you make good use of this time. This is an important and it's quite a favorable transit over the next 2-3 months for Gemini ascendants, as Venus moves back to Cancer later as well. So I wish you the very best. Let's talk about Cancer ascendants. For Cancer ascendants, Venus rules the 11th house and it rules the 4th house, and it is making a transit on your ascendant in your first house. Venus is the ruler of gains, your wider network, your friends, all the material comforts, and it is also the lord of 4th house, which is happiness, where you feel most comfortable, unconditional love, mother. It is making a transit on your ascendant, your own self. From here, Venus is aspecting the 7th house of partnerships, marriage, harmony, people who are opposite to you. What does Venus desire here? Venus desires that if you're married, you either put your focus back into your relationships, back into your marriage with a lot more energy that you might have used in the past. If you're not married, then this is a time where you're highly likely to find someone who you might have a karmic connection with in an effort to find a right match for yourself. For those who are not married, this could be a potential time for you to find someone who you get along really well and are able to spend the rest of your life with. This time period can also give you some favors from other people if it is about your business. So quite an important transit for Cancer ascendants. The message is that this transit is really igniting the passion, the focus to put back on your own self, your overall personality, your overall strength when it comes to your body and also your mind. So at the physical level, also at the mental level, you need to channelize these passions, these energies in an appropriate manner, else it can go the other way. So make sure that you meditate, you do yoga during this time to strengthen your mind and to also do good for your own body. What you consume, what you eat, you also need to be conscious of it. Overall, it's a great transit for Cancer ascendants. This is also a time where you might need to focus more on your social media presence in terms of expanding your network, in terms of making good use of your network, if you have been planning to do so. During this transit, your first house, your 4th house, and 3rd house are likely to experience positive results, which means that this is about yourself. What makes you feel happy? What makes you feel content? And you are likely to put efforts accordingly. So this is something which you might need to keep in mind. Overall, it's a favorable transit and I wish you the very best. Let's talk about Leo ascendants. So for Leo ascendants, Venus becomes the ruler of the 10th house and the 3rd house, the ruler of the house of karma, work, your action in the society, your profession, and the ruler of the 3rd house of efforts, short travel, your sibling, your communication, is making a transit in the 12th house of his subconsciousness, 12th house of losses, 12th house of giving, of making a charity or donations. And this is also the house where you like to rest, where you like to relax. And it is making an aspect to the 6th house from the 12th house. What does Venus desire? It desires competition. It desires passion in daily routines. So putting your focus back into daily routines. This transit for Leo Ascendants is giving a clear message. The clear message is around efforts at your workplace that need more attention, and this is also the time where you're likely to see some sort of an outcome, some sort of a result of these efforts. You're going to spend a lot of efforts at your workplace, which will give a boost to your 10th house of your profession. So there could be some sort of professional advancement or progress, but that will require a lot of extra efforts. This is also the time to put focus back in your well-being and balancing your personal and your professional life. You're likely to feel a bit overworked or overburdened with things which can have a negative consequence in your personal life. So that is something which you need to be mindful of. So this is the time when you need to practice yoga, some sort of spiritual practices, or get yourself inclined towards spirituality, do meditation, which will be very helpful for you during this transit. This will also give people opportunity to interact with people from foreign cultures, from different cultures, and also make you travel to a foreign land. You're likely to get some favors from foreigners if you work with them. Venus is one of those planets which is considered very good in the 12th house. So its transit in the 12th house does bring some sort of expenditure. But as I say, when there is expenditure, there should be rise in income as well. During this transit, your 12th house, your 3rd house, and your 2nd house is likely to experience positive results, which means that this is the time where you would put your passion in travel, in your family, and your overall wealth. So your efforts are going to be around these areas, and some sort of short travel can be quite fruitful and rewarding for you. It will be an opportunity to rejuvenate, to recharge yourself, that you feel fresh and you could give a lot more towards your work. So overall, I'll say it's a mixed transit, but the later part of the transit, when Venus moves into the sign of Leo, is likely to be quite favorable. I wish you the very best. Let's talk about Virgo ascendants. For Virgos, Venus rules the 9th house and the 2nd house, two important houses. 9th house of Bhagya, fortune, religion, spirituality, higher learning, long distance travel, father or father figure, and the 2nd house of wealth, family, your speech. This is the house where you feed yourself. It is making a transit in the 11th house of gains, and from the 11th house it is aspecting the 5th house. What does Venus desire through the 7th aspect? It has a desire for future wealth. Your focus is likely to be in terms of building prosperity for the future, and what are you going to do in order to really prosper over the next few months. This is a clear Dhan Yoga in transit, and during this time fortune is quite favorable. So if you're looking forward to any sort of a monetary increment over the next 3 to 4 months, this could be quite a promising time, wherein you might get some sort of an incentive, or you get incentivized at work through rewards, recognition, or you could get a increment as well. There could also be some sort of an increase for the overall wealth situation of the family. So, any of your family members that are working, so this is a supportive transit towards your family's wealth as well. You need to focus on your interaction with other people, which will influence them. And if you're able to influence other people, you'll be able to take some favors from them. This will help you build your social quotient and your social credibility. One of the things you need to be mindful of is to avoid any sort of shortcuts, because there is no scope for shortcuts. Be honest and transparent in your dealings, and you will see a positive outcome. During this transit, your 11th house, your 1st house, and 2nd house are likely to experience positive results. That means it is gains for yourself and for your family, for the protection of future, for prosperity in the future. So this is the time for you to build that foundation so that you can prosper over the next few months. Overall, it is a positive transit, and I wish you the very best. Let's now talk about Libra ascendants. For Libras, Venus becomes the ruler of the 8th house, and it becomes the ruler of the 1st house. And it is making a transit in the most important Kendra, which is the 10th house. So your ascendant lord, your Lagna lord, which is yourself, your overall personality, your strength, and also the lord that rules transformation, that rules sudden change, that rules longevity and all the hidden knowledge and occult sciences is making a transit in the house of karma. From here, Venus is aspecting the 4th house, the 4th house of comforts, the 4th house of happiness, satisfaction, where you feel most protected, the house of care, mother. So this is the time where Venus desires happiness at the soul level and also at a physical level, comforts, luxuries, and finding what makes you feel content, what makes you feel happy. So the message for this transit for Libra ascendants is that there could be certain unexpected decisions which might result to some sort of gains at your workplace, something that you were not expecting. It could be positive if there are other conditions and the dasha which is supportive in your chart. This can result to some sort of positive change or even a promotion at your workplace, or it might set some sort of a direction towards your upliftment at your workplace, towards your progression at your workplace. This is also an excellent time for you to gain some sort of hidden knowledge, secrets, occult mysticism. If you are interested in Jyotish, it is a great time to practice and study from a karmic point of view. There are also favorable conditions when it comes to inheritance and gains from inheritance as well during this time. Your 10th house, 12th house and your 1st house are likely to experience positive results. What is the message? The message is that you need to work towards yourself, towards your self-consciousness in order to rediscover yourself, in order to transform, in order to become a better person, really strengthen your mind so that you can focus a lot more in terms of your work. Overall, I would say it's quite a promising transit over the next 3 to 4 months when your Lagna Lord moves through 10th and the 11th house and makes a retrograde motion as well. This can bring some extraordinary gains at your workplace. I wish you the very best. Let's talk about Scorpio ascendants. For Scorpios, Venus becomes the ruler of the 7th house and the 12th house. It is now making a transit in a very important trinal house, which is the 9th house. Your lord of relationships, partnership, marriage, agreements, people who are outside, people who are opposite to you, your spouse, and also the lord of the house of losses, the house of self-consciousness, the house of higher realm, your overall spirituality and spiritual pursuits, confined spaces, is making a transit in the 9th house of dharma, fortune, father, higher learning, long distance travel, and this is the space that Venus loves. From here, Venus is aspecting the 3rd house of learning, communication, and that is what Venus desires and that is what Venus desires at the moment. Venus desires you to get blessings of your guru or your mentor. It is about Guru Upadesha. Take some knowledge, take some learning, which can really help you shape yourself over the next 3 to 4 months and chalk out some plans as well. This can be extremely supportive for Scorpio ascendants if you have a mentor or a guru, and that is the remedy for you. The key message of this transit is that there needs to be communication in relationship in order to establish harmony, in order to establish and maintain peace at home and in your relationship, in order to resolve some of the differences in the past, and it's time to move on to have a better future. There could be certain favors if you work with foreigners or people from foreign lands. Condition if you communicate with them, if you ask the right questions, if you help in exchange. Because it is give and take, communication, that's what it is all about. It's all about communication, it's all about giving and taking. You will also be very much focused towards dharma, towards spirituality, also towards higher learning, which can strengthen your overall personality and make you very strong at the mental level. During this transit, your 9th house, your 11th house and your 12th house are likely to experience positive results. which means that if you opt for higher learning now, you're likely to have gains in the near future, and you will give it back to the society as well. Help the needy, support other people, give what you can at the moment. Overall, I would say it is a mixed transit for Scorpio ascendants, and I wish you the very best. Now let's talk about Sagittarius ascendants. For Sagittarius ascendants, Venus becomes the ruler of the 6th house and the 11th house, the ruler of your daily routines, competition, debts, and the ruler of the 11th house, which indicates gains. 11th house also indicates competition. It also indicates your social network, and it is making a transit in the 8th house of transformation. From the 8th house, Venus is going to aspect the 2nd house. What does Venus desire during this transit? It desires gain of wealth. It desires protection towards your family. It also desires food, some nice food, but then you also got to be mindful of what you consume, what you eat during this transit, and do not end up overwhelming yourself in this space. Venus in this transit is creating a Viparita Raja Yoga, which means that there is a definite rise, but this rise will come after a fall or after significant amount of struggle that you might need to make during this transit. Eventually, you will rise. So that makes you feel good. There is likely victory over others, and the focus of this victory is for gains for yourself and for your family. What you need to do in order to make sure that you have gains in the near future is that you need to transform yourself. What is that you need to transform? You need to transform or make changes in your daily routine. So for example, if you're having trouble rising up early or getting out of bed on time, you need to change that. You need to fix that as soon as you can, so that the next 2 or 3 months can likely be favorable for you. You need to get into and adapt a healthy lifestyle and bring in some discipline there as well. So these are the simple life remedies for you during this transit if you wish to make it favorable for yourself. Venus in the 8th is considered good because Venus is the only graha that achieved the knowledge of Mrit Sanjeevani. So it is also the Karaka for longevity. Additionally, one of the things that I would recommend is solitude. Spend time with your own self, reflect, think as much as you can, and build your self-awareness. During this transit, your 8th house, 10th house, and 11th house are likely to experience positive results, which means that it is good for transforming yourself so that you can perform at your workplace. If you perform at your workplace, you're likely to witness gains over the next few months. So this is the key message and quite important for you during this transit. Overall, it is a mixed transit, but then it is going to get better with time. I wish you the very best. Let's talk about Capricorn ascendants. For Capricorns, Venus becomes the ruler of the 5th house and the 10th house. So it becomes a Yoga Karaka for Capricorn ascendants, and it is making a transit in the 7th house. So the ruler of future, house of children, the house of Rajya or kingdom, and also the house of work, your profession, your actions in the society, is making a transit in the house of partnership, house of marriage, relationship, harmony, your spouse, and from here Venus is aspecting your ascendant or your 1st house. So Venus desires self-care, focus on yourself, period. That's what it is all about. The key message for this transit is that for those who are looking forward to have a partner in the future, or your future spouse, or you're likely to get married, this is the time that you're likely to find someone over the next 2 or 3 months. There could be some confusion as well, but this will get clear as you go along. This could also be quite a favorable time in terms of starting a new business or setting up a new avenue, in case your current dasha time period is favorable or if Venus is strongly placed in your chart. 7th house is also the house where Venus is the Karaka. This is the happy space for Venus. Venus feels quite comfortable in this house, which means you're likely to get support from other people who are opposite to you. Especially if you're a male, you're likely to get feminine support during this time. Your 7th house, 9th house, and 10th house are likely to experience positive results, which means if you put focus on your marital harmony, on your relationship, your fortune will elevate. Your fortune will elevate, you will get workplace success, you will be recognized. So this is what you got to do over the next few weeks. Overall, it is a good and a positive transit for Capricorn ascendants, and I wish you the very best. Now let's talk about Aquarius ascendants. For Aquarius, Venus again becomes a Yoga Karaka and an important planet. It rules your 4th house and the 9th house, your 4th house of happiness, comfort, your home, care and compassion, your mother, and also the 9th house of father, fortune, religion, dharma, higher learning. And it is making a transit in the 6th house of daily routines, of competition, of debts, of health, and it is aspecting the 12th house. What does Venus desire there? Venus desires that you need to put more focus on your health, on your daily routine, in terms of changing your lifestyle, in terms of building your self-consciousness. Also focusing a lot on your sleep. In the 6th house, Venus is considered Maran Karaka. It's not a very good space for Venus. However, this will give you some sort of support to be victorious in terms of your competition, to achieve success if you are in a competitive environment. As a remedy, you really need to change your routine. You need to fix your fundamentals and focus on a healthy routine. There could be new learning that is favorable for you, that will help you build your intelligence quotient and help you to be successful in whatever you're doing in life over the next few months. Practice spirituality, practice yoga, make sure that you stay hydrated and you stay active all throughout the time. During this transit, Venus is going to ensure that your 6th house, 8th house and 9th house are positive. They deliver positive results, which means that your daily routine needs attention. It is going to get better, which will help you become a better person, which will help you in transforming yourself so that you can be fortunate in terms of what you're doing in your life and receive some positive results. I wish you the very best. Now let's talk about Pisces ascendants. For Pisces ascendants, Venus rules the 3rd house and the 8th house, and it is making an important transit in your 5th house. Venus for you is the ruler of efforts, is the ruler of communication, short distance travel, your siblings and how your relationship is. It also rules the house of transformation, sudden changes and ups and downs, lot of inheritance and longevity. It is now making a transit in the 5th house of future, your children, 5th house of success for the future, because this is where the king likes to sit. It is the throne. From this house, Venus is making an aspect, 100% aspect to the 11th house of gains, and this is what Venus desires. Venus wants you to build your network, Venus wants you to be successful, and Venus wants you to gain. Now, what is the key message for this transit? These gains are going to come after significant efforts and transformation, which can initially be painful for you, because any transformation comes with certain amount of pain. Overall, it is a great transit that I can say from that perspective, because this will help you build a lot of material wealth for your future. As a remedy, what you need to do is you need to relax, you need to stay calm, and you need to build your resilience. The more you build your resilience, you're able to face different scenarios. You're able to face the most challenging situations over the next few weeks with very minimum effort. During this transit, your 5th house, your 7th house and your 8th house are likely to witness positive results. So it is time to put your focus on future planning in your relationships and your care, your concern towards your partner or your spouse, and also in your business if you're into a business. And that will help you make some changes in your own self, transform yourself for good. That will make you become more understanding towards your relationship, which will be very good for your future. Overall, I would say that it is a positive transit for Pisces ascendants, but in the initial days, it could bring some sort of struggles and it will get better with time. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe, hit the bell icon to keep yourself updated with the most recent videos that I'm going to be making as I continue to make more videos with your support and encouragement.